So when I tell you the internet is going nuts about this lady who was at the Super Bowl on February 9th against the Philadelphia Eagles and against the Chief, and we can see she's in green, so most likely she's an Eagles fan. And she had this voodoo doll, and this voodoo doll looked like Patrick Mahomes. It had the number 15, and she was just poking the shit out of it. It's got so much reactions online, and people are labeling her the Super Bowl witch, the voodoo doll lady. I was like, who is this white lady doing voodoo at the Super Bowl? But you know what? Hey, okay. And a lot of people say that Patrick Mahomes probably had the worst performance he's ever had in his career. And I will say it was pretty bad. But one of the things that I want to point out is we have to remember that this took place in New Orleans, and New Orleans is basically the key, the portal. It is the gateway to so many spiritual practices. And New Orleans is deep and also deep entwined with voodoo. So, do I think this could have created some cosmic connection or some type of energy that really made him perform bad? I will say yes, I do, because of a few things. Louisiana is very much centered in the area of ancestral lineage and also the area of voodoo, hoodoo, and also a lot of different spiritual and also religious practices. She is in a full on energy cycle. If you watch the video, she is rocking back and forth. It looks like she's even speaking, and she's also doing stimulus acts at once, which is poking the voodoo doll who resembles Patrick Mahomes. We have to remember she's rocking, she's continuously making energy by poking this voodoo doll. So when you are in somewhere as magical and has so much ancestral land and so much area of history, that energy continues to live in the soil. And the New Orleans voodoo and hoodoo traditions run very deep in the roots of the soil of the city. So hoodoo and voodoo usually come from the areas of traditions and religions that were transitioned over from Haiti and also from Africa. In the early 1700s, enslaved Africans brought their spiritual beliefs and areas of worship into the states when they were enslaved. And a lot of times they merged these practices with orishas or saints or different religious beings or practices that were dominant in their ancestral heritage. So voodoo ceremonies, and this is what I want to point out, is most voodoo ceremonies are actually done in public places. And look at this. Look at where it's at. It's in a very public place. It is in the Super Bowl. You can't get more public than that. So traditionally, voodoo ceremonies are done in a public place, and most of the time they were often held in some type of Congo or some type of square or some type of circle, some type of magical tradition, and people would gather, they would sing music, there would be multiple energies speaking whatever they were moving the universe to, whatever they were manifesting to. So it was seen as and still is seen as a very beautiful and spiritual practice, and it is usually done in a public place. Unfortunately, with recent pop culture and recent, just the white and Catholic notion that anything besides religious practices are conceived as evil or downfall or whatever, a lot of people now don't really practice voodoo or hoodoo in public places anymore. But this lady, she did. This is a little bit of a form of hexing somebody, but we have to remember that whole stadium was hexing him. Okay, that whole stadium, the whole side of the Eagles fans were probably taunting him, speaking affirmations for his demise, speaking a lot of stuff into the universe. So it wasn't just her, it was the area of where she was at, also the public arena of the stadium, and also the energetic alignment. We have to remember that Patrick Mahomes is very talented. So I don't necessarily know if this is going to knock him off his whole career, but it definitely put a dent in it. And I do think a lot of it had to do with that the Super Bowl was actually in St. Orleans, and there is a lot of ancestral lineage and also heritage and culture that kind of came up to give him an ass whooping. And maybe rightfully so. But let me know what you guys think in the comments.